it doesn't change anything.
Good morning, everybody. Diving right into CNBC. 10-year down a little bit.
To something where yields maybe get a little bit of
well, first of all, good morning and welcome. If y'all haven't seen,
it's also worth noting that with the financials underperforming this week, it's not just banks that are.
Let's pull off that for a second. If you haven't seen already, the jobs report came in and it was worse than expected. Let's head over. Let's go look at it for a moment, so I can show you what the market's reacting to. Okay, let's move over. All right, so we see here that the total payroll employment rose by only 235,000 in August, and the unemployment rate declined by 0.2 percentage points to 5.2%. So unemployment declined to 5.2%. And the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics reported today, so far this year, monthly job growth has averaged 586,000 in August. Notable job gains occurred in professional and business services, transportation, and warehousing. Okay. This news release presents statistics from 2 monthly surveys. The household survey measures labor force status. Okay, let's go here. The unemployment rate declined by 0.2%. The number of unemployed persons edged down to 8.4 million following a large decrease in July. Both measures are down considerably from their highs at the end of February to April of 2020 recession. However, they remain above their levels prior to the coronavirus. Among the major adult men is 5.1%. For whites, 4.5%. And for adult women, 8.8%. Okay. So the reason this is a big deal is because it missed expectations. We expected these numbers to be larger, and because of this, because of what it said, our unemployment rate is still higher than when it was pre-COVID. That basically means that it's likely to mean that the taper that Fed Chairman Jerome Powell was speaking of the other day will be delayed. It won't happen here in September. The 10-year Treasury will fall a few basis points, and it's just a longer battle than expected. Let's move back over to CNBC, see what they're saying.
Point out, Prasan, now, to be fair, they own more of CP than they do of CN.
Yeah, they're talking about nothing related.
CN to drop their bid, they inevitably are encouraging CP's bid, and so believe, obviously, at TCI that there will be.
Yeah, let's check our stocks, see if anything is moving before the open. Open happened. We have a spot of Hut Mining up. Ooh. Space down, Roblox down. Oh. Let's run back over to CNBC. Opening bell's about to happen.
Potentially an opportunity there for investors as well.
Yeah. Well, you hear the applause building here, of course, as you get ready.
See, the last few days we've seen a lot of green. Let's see what we see, especially with this jobs report number out.
Here's the big board. Online home buyer offer plan.
Okay.
It was via SPAC one, so I'm going to have more, by the way, on that SPAC in a bit. And over at the NASDAQ Biopharma Company.
A little bit more red today than we've
been
used to seeing.
Right now out of Apple.
Breaking news.
And for that, we're joined by John Fort. John.
What's Apple saying?
Right, David, the news from Apple this morning sent just a few minutes ago is regarding those steps that Apple was taking to combat images of child sexual exploitation. They were going to scan user devices, including iPhones, including including Macs, for those images. They said they were going to do it in a way that did not actually look at all of the images on a user's phone, but nonetheless was going to be able to make matches to a database
some interesting
using
news.
a hashed system. But Apple is hitting pause on that. The statement reads in part,
Bit of
last
a
month
privacy
we announced
concern.
plans for features intended to help protect children from predators who use communication tools to recruit and exploit them and limit the spread of child sexual abuse material. Apple says we've decided to take additional time over the coming months to collect input and make improvements before releasing these critically important child safety features. So the indication from Apple, they still plan to do this, at least in this statement, but just not immediately. And when they say in the coming months, given that we normally get an announcement of new iPhones here in September, they begin to ship shortly thereafter, perhaps new Macs or the hardware for the holiday season. We probably expect to see these features roll out until 2022. This happened as Apple has also just taken.
Here, let's move back over to our watch list. Look, Bitcoin breaking the 50,000 mark. Love seeing that for Bitcoin. Pushing upward, pushing upward. Just this morning, it was 48,000. So already a good gain this morning. Let's keep it going for Bitcoin. Love to see that. It was hitting 50,000 a few days ago. Let's go to the hour chart. Here we don't see it so much here. Oh, here we go. 50,000. Almost hitting 51,000. That's exciting. How's Ethereum doing? Ethereum was having a crazy run up. Has it broken 4K? It's nearly there. Ethereum running up nearly at 4K at 39.53 right now. Wow. Just look, 2 days ago at Ethereum, it's run up 10%. Makes you curious, is Ethereum going to have a huge breakout? Check the day chart, the moving average. 200-day moving average is at 2,400. It's quite a bit above the 200-day. And the 50-day is at 28.56. If you bought here under the 200-day, you'd be really happy. I always try to look for the 200-day moving average. If the cryptos I like fall below the 200, that's telling me to buy. That is definitely telling me to buy. Here we pull out a little bit more. We see where we came from. Just rocketed up to 4,300. Fell hard and fast down to below 2,000, 1700s. And then we're coming back. We're coming back steady. Good GG Ethereum. How's Cardano doing? ADA. It's still floating at that $3 mark. Still floating there. Let's go to the 5-minute chart. Or even the 1 minute. Here we can take those off. Again, Cardano's Alonzo hard fork combinator comes out September 12th. So that's in 9 days away. I wonder how much upside Cardano has left to see from that. I bet quite a bit. Whenever we're a couple days out, it'll be really interesting. I'm excited to see what happens after the fact. Is Cardano gonna fall? Is it gonna maintain its $3 position? Who knows? Who knows? What else do we have happening? Coinbase, it's up a little bit. It's at 270. Walt Disney at 180. Robinhood, 44.50. MicroStrategy's up a little bit. What's the big losers? Really not big winners. HUD 8 from the crypto, Marathon Digital. And Ethereum might break 4K today. I wonder if it will withstand it. Big losers today: Virgin Galactic, Roblox, Nikola, Moderna, Plug Power, Skills. Looking here again at Skills, we looked at a bit yesterday. $12. If you're a fan of the company, this is could be a great buying opportunity for you. Let's head over back to CNBC, see what they're saying.
The opening bell, OfferPad. It is now a publicly traded company, what we call a de-SPACing. You should take a look at the broader averages there. But what has caught my eye of late, of course, is the level of redemptions that we're getting at many of these SPACs. Remember, shareholders
I have
can
to get my
choose
coffee
before a record date to get $10 back if they do so. And so many of these stocks are trading right at around $10 and are believed, frankly, to then after the close of the deal go down. Many investors are saying, I'll just take my $10. It's another transparency question, though, because not all of these SPACs are actually telling us what their redemptions were or their redemption rates were. And you sort of have to try to back into it by simply figuring out what they say their post-merger cash position is. In the case of OfferPad, it's $284 million. So then you go back and you look at the original press releases we did. You see, well, they had expected to have $650 million in cash.
That's a big difference.
And that included $200 million from the PIPE and $50 million in a direct investment. So assuming those both came in as planned at $250, you only got
All right, let's pull off that. Let's check out what's happening in the news today. Wall Street Journal. Okay, let's go to the homepage. U.S. added 235,000 jobs in August as Delta dented hiring. Let's click on this. I know we've talked about it a little bit already, but let's see if we can get some more details. August payment growth was okay. U.S. payrolls grew by 235K, and the jobless rate fell to 5.2% in August. Hiring was particularly weak in service sectors that involve in-person interactions. Employment in leisure and hospitality held steady after adding an average of 350,000 jobs a month over the previous 6 months. Retailers cut jobs in August. So the 235,000 gained was a gain, but just less than expected. The Delta variant also appears to be denting consumer spending growth and confidence. The number of diners seated at restaurants was down 9% in the week ended September 2nd compared with the same week in 2019 before the pandemic. Another sign of weakening, the number of employees logging hours fell 4% in August from July, according to Homebase, a scheduling software company with mainly smaller business clients. The steady decline in employment throughout the month was driven by industries that have seen the sharpest job growth in recent months among state reopenings. The number of hospitality employees working dropped 35% from mid July, while those uh, in entertainment fell 20%. So just a miss with the jobs report. People need to get back to work. All this free cash floating around, people are like, no job needed. The stock market, as crazy as it is, people are like, hey, I can just live off my investments. Okay, let's head over to the business section. Let's check out this. Apple seeds ground as larger fights over App Store brew. A week of settlements by the iPhone maker changes some App Store rules. Even after a week of tweaks to the Apple App Store, the core fight over the iPhone maker's market power remains for a federal judge and lawmakers in Brussels and Washington to decide. The moves so far have appeased some. Japan's antitrust enforcer will drop its investigation into Apple as part of a deal announced in late Wednesday. The company agreed to allow certain types of companies to include links within their apps, for the first time to allow the user to sign up on websites. The change makes it possible to bypass its payment system and, in turn, Apple's ability to capture a cut of the revenue. Another proposed deal announced last week to settle a class action lawsuit by small developers would allow apps to communicate with users outside of the app about alternative payment methods for the service. These agreements, however, don't address the major complaints by bigger rivals such as Spotify and Epic Games, which have accused Apple of misusing its power over the iPhone ecosystem to unfairly disadvantage third-party developers. Spotify's complaints in Europe helped lead the European Union's top antitrust enforcer to charge Apple this year with abusing its control over streaming music apps. Epic has sued Apple in the US federal courts in a case that is expected to have a ruling soon. Okay, this is a step in the right direction. Spotify says the recent settlement doesn't address concerns such as Apple's requirement that developers use its in-app payment system, which charges as much as 30%. And Epic has argued that users should be allowed to download competing stores or apps directly onto their phones outside of Apple's digital store. Okay. They're just basically saying Apple has too much control. Apple is taking too much of a cut. That's not fair. Okay. Let's check out the economy page. US payroll growth slowed in August. Just like we said, jobs report likely derails case for September Fed taper. Again, I think the taper is likely to happen this year, but the likelihood of it happening in September, personally, I already thought that was slim to none. But it looks like the the people who know a lot more than me and write these articles are agreeing that a taper happening in September is very unlikely. The slowdown in job growth in August is likely to spoil the case for the Fed to start reversing its easy money policies at its next policy meeting, but the steady hiring could still lead officials to begin reducing their bond purchases later this year. At their most recent meeting, Fed officials indicated that they were on track to begin scaling back their, okay, we know this, begin to taper. Okay, never mind. That basically is just saying what I've already said to you guys. Democrats weigh $3.5 trillion agenda. How much should be paid for it? The IRS's $11 million math error. Okay. Let's look at this. Weaker demand for imports narrowed U.S. trade deficit in July. Service surplus fell as Americans resumed overseas travel. The U.S. trade deficit narrowed in July as consumers and businesses pulled back on purchases of imported goods, rising COVID-19 cases caused by the Delta variant. The trade gap in goods and services shrank 4.5% from the previous month to seasonally adjusted $70 billion. Okay. Yeah, with less trade happening, could weaken the markets a little bit. Okay, let's check out our crypto, our coin market cap. No, we already saw Bitcoin. Okay, Bitcoin's fall. Let's refresh. Falling back below the 50,000. Oh, no, never mind. Okay, Ethereum still trying to break the 4K mark, up 25% in the last day, waiting for Bitcoin to have the 25% move. Love for Bitcoin to be hitting its all-time highs again, pushing 70K. Would love that. Cardano still holding the $3 mark, just below. Solana, wow, climbing another 20% at a $40 billion market cap. Solana, wow. I just feel like Solana has grown so much so fast. I feel like I missed the train on that one. If you're in it and you think it's still early, let me know down in the comments below. I just don't know. Chainlink climbing to $30. Chainlink's still about 50% lower than its all-time highs. I think it hit close to 60. Very nice. Okay, let's head back over to CNBC, see what they're saying.
The action today, Bob.
Yeah, unfortunately, this jobs report doesn't help the stock market. What I hear from the traders is it's playing into the stagflation argument. So we have somewhat higher wage numbers, which is good for workers, and weaker job growth. That's the stagflation story. So take a look at the major indices. You can see kind of gold likes this, obviously, up a little bit. The dollar doesn't particularly. Dollar's been trending down for the last few weeks, and it's kind of blah to a negative, a slight negative for stocks overall. You see the S&P weak, but not terribly weak. If you look at the major sectors here, obviously banks up a little bit, rates up a little bit more, higher rates definitely will help the banks a bit. But everything else, tech's a mild positive because we're waiting for COVID to pass. That's what the market's doing. And that would be a beneficiary. Tech would be a beneficiary for any continuation of concerns around COVID. But everything else, that's cyclical, like consumer discretionary. Some of the housing stocks are weak today. Energy, generally, not great news for that cyclical part of the economy. Meantime, I think the concern here at this point is you get inflation moving.
Let's see what our
basically
Father
jobs
Meet
don't
Kevin's
move,
saying.
and the Fed doesn't move. Then you have a concern about the Fed moving.
Yeah, the effects on family-run businesses.
Here, I'll move myself.
All right, lots of tax debating to happen. Upstart, Microvision doing well again here. Metamaterial just bled out a little bit.
Okay.
But Microvision,
if he's just looking at Webull,
yeah, really think
we can do the same.
this is a are we going to see some momentum coming back to
Okay. Here, what do we got? Don't have I mean, the big news today is definitely the Fed, or I'm sorry, the jobs report. It's going to give us a little bit softer market today. And until news comes out, just a normal trading day. Here, let's go to support.com, see how they're moving today. Support.com is the latest of the meme stocks. Here you look at the day chart for support.com, and you can see that it's just blown up from $7 to 56. Now it's down to 21.84, so it's still falling. Let's look at the minute chart for it. Okay, the volume 3.7 million. It's moving a little bit. Okay, how's GameStop doing? GameStop up a little bit today. GameStop holding steady at the 215 mark. Amazon softer today, probably from the jobs number. Let's look at the day chart for Amazon. Amazon just been flat relatively for the whole year. 52-week high, 3,700. 52-week low, 2,800. It's really just been in that channel. You know, if you can get Amazon below 3K, I think that's a great score. Who knows if it will fall the 15% needed to get there. But you can see Amazon did have quite a bit of a tumble. I'm not sure what happened here. The end of September, or I'm sorry, end of July. Yeah, Amazon holding steady. Look at that. Pretty much since July last year, 2020, it's just stayed flat. I mean, crazy run up last year. I mean, the pandemic happened, and then look at that run up, just great. But ever since, really flat for Amazon, just sideways trading. Wow. Okay, what else can we look at? See what CNBC is saying again.
Reasons that infrastructure maintenance is such a challenge in this rugged state, and why they're practically drooling over the potential funding
bill.
in the infrastructure bill. We're talking $1.3 billion in highway money, another nearly $250 million for bridges. That's according to the latest figures from the White House, plus millions more in grants that the states can compete for. Maine's Department of Transportation says this state is running at about a $200 million a year shortfall in terms of what they need to do and what they can afford to do. That money will help. There's also, of course, money in there for the power grid and also for broadband. That's a big need in the state. If you're thinking of leaving your job and moving to the woods in Maine to work remotely, you've got a rude awakening coming because broadband is poor here. They hope to improve that as well. Morgan?
Something we're all going to be watching very closely as we await an infrastructure package to actually make its way through Congress and become a law. Scott Cohen, thanks. And by the way, try the oysters up there. They're really good. They don't get enough attention.
All right, let's head over to
shifting gears here. I want to take a look
Shifting
at
gears,
a name.
what
We
are
were talking
they?
about SPACs earlier. This is one of those companies that kind of
Breaking
helped
news. I'd love
popularize
to see
SPACs
that.
a number of years ago now. Virgin Galactic.
Okay,
Those shares are under
Biden's going to
pressure
talk
right now,
about
down
the
about 3.5%, almost 4%.
jobs report number.
This
Let's pull
coming
off. Let's
on
go
the
to
heels of an
CNBC.com,
FAA
see if they have
investigation.
anything. I wanted to we saw this a little bit this morning, but Apple delays controversial plan to scan iPhones for child exploitation images. Critics said Apple's system was at odds with the promises to protect its customers' privacy. Yeah, that's right. If Apple is scanning your phone for these awful, I think everyone would agree, awful images, a lot of people have the mindset of, hey, if I'm not doing anything bad, I don't care, and to get this off of, to punish the people who are doing this and to catch them, super worth it. And then other people are saying, hey, invasion of privacy, if they're gonna, it begins here, but where does it end? Well, what else are they going to see? What else are they going to control us by? That people think Apple will be maybe an authoritarian system. Apple on Friday said it would delay the controversial plan to scan users' photo libraries for images of child exploitation. Last month, we announced plans for features intended to help protect children from predators who use communication tools to recruit and exploit them, and limit the spread of child sexual abuse material. Based on feedback from customers, advocacy groups, researchers, and others, we have decided to take additional time over the coming months to collect input and make improvements before releasing these critically important child safety features. Okay, so it's just delayed, but they still plan on doing it. Apple immediately stirred controversy after announcing its system for checking users' devices for illegal child sex abuse material, or CSAM. So what did critics say? Critics pointed out that the system, which can check images stored in an iCloud account against a database of known CSAM imagery, was at odds with Apple's messaging around its customers' privacy. The system does not scan a user's photos, but instead looks for known digital fingerprints that it matches against the CSAM database. If the system detects enough images on a user's account, it is then flagged to a human monitor who can confirm the CSAM imagery and pass the information along to a law enforcement if necessary. And imagine that being your job, but just having to check images and saying, yep, that's CSAM, yep, that's CSAM, nope, that's just a kid in a bathtub with a happy family. Yes, no, I bet that just sounds like an awful, awful job to have. But let me know down in the comments below what you think about this. Do you care if Apple is scanning your phone for this type of material, or do you not care? Let me know below. Thank you. Despite the controversy surrounding Apple's move, it's actually a standard practice among companies like Facebook, Dropbox, and Google, and many others have systems that can automatically detect CSAM uploaded to their respected services. Okay, so so maybe Apple's just in the news about it, but these companies already do it. Okay. Any other news? Get ready for a possible record-breaking push of IPOs this fall. What IPOs are coming? Will this tell us? Find out. Consumer IPOs on file. Warby Parker. Okay. Fresh Market. Authentic Brands. Brand licensure for Nautica and Eddie. Okay. Allbirds. Footwear brand. Instacart. Chobani, Sweet Green, Flipkart, and Impossible Foods. Interesting. I'm personally not too interested in any of those. Oh, we have some breaking news. Let's see what it is.
Yes, David, thank you. Our ISM Services Index is out for the month of August. And do remember, our last look at 64.1 was the all-time high, and it had a huge impact on juicing stocks. We've moved down just a bit. 61.7 is the current read. Don't see a revision to last time's historic number. And believe me, 60.7 is awfully lofty in and of itself, considering that the service sector is the biggest swath of the U.S. economy. Just for some perspective, the February before COVID hit, February of 2020, this number was at 56.7. Morgan, back to you.
Rick Santelli, thank you. We are 30 minutes into the trading session. Here are three of the big movers we are watching this Friday morning. We're going to start with Didi, rallying on a report that Beijing was considering taking a stake in the company, possibly bringing it under state control. Stock is still down more than 30% year to date. However, it's up 7% today. Plus, Fubo TV, those shares are getting a boost.
All right, guys. Again, thank you so much for joining me in this market live stream. I'm going to pull off for the day. Everybody, enjoy your day. Thank you so much. And until next time, take care.